Good evening on Thursday, the last day of July 31. And first and foremost, a word about yesterday on Wednesday. Me and the partner of mine went for a visit to an office in Helsinki and then for a trip. But most and more importantly, I am so glad and happy for the times ahead. I have been ready for this throughout this decade. And speaking of times and ions and epochs and paradigms, this spring I began to transcribe and translate the handwritten poetry book of mine created between 2011 and 2013 around those mindscapes and summit tops of mine. And ever since the beginning of spring, when I found the diary poetry books from the bottom of my moving cargo boxes and took the first glimpse at a spread, I have been so ambitious to rediscover and find again the evocation of time back 12 years, and I have been reading it thoroughly and along with my translations as if the time was born again, as if I was there and here simultaneously, since it has been so relevant wavelength to be within. And that being said, while I immediately began the work of transcribing and translating, a couple weeks after that, as I remembered that there was another book fulfilled from the front to the back with this handwritten poetry, but I am halfway through the first one, and from those same boxes I found the seeds of Gingko Tree that I wanted to plant back in the day in 2012, same time as I was working on my language studies, and when I began independently, as if conclusion of the studies, I began to write this diary poetry books. So at the same time, in 2013 autumn, I began the art college and there I got to know a friend of mine with whom I sang the poetry of mine written in the fourth language of mine. So that being said, back to yesterday, when we spontaneously decided where we are gonna spend the time of afternoon in Helsinki, we decided to, after eating lunch, we decided to go to visit the kasvitieteellinen puutarha. What is the official name of the garden in English even? That is the big garden. That is the Botanical Garden, the big botanical central garden of Helsinki. And when we arrived there, I kind of was in awe, since I recalled that actually there is, or there are, a couple ginkgo trees in this botanical garden. I have known that, but it just didn't cross my mind. So, and I even discussed about this earlier, like a week or two ago, with the partner of mine. And now, when we were there, I wanted to see the ginkgo trees of this botanical garden, and indeed it was on there is this section or segment called the evolution of garden, and there indeed there was this signpost where you could learn that ginkgo tree is actually one of the oldest alive species of trees that produces seeds on this face of the earth. So no wonder that I was ambitious to plant the ginkgo tree even in 2012. So that is just a brief scratch of the story from yesterday. I was so glad that I visited the ginkgo tree, and I have had this scheduled to post actually my handwritten poetry book along with the ginkgo tree seeds from 2012, but I haven't yet got to post it. But now I can make the post along with some pictures from the ginkgo trees underneath the canopy of the ginkgo trees where we visited yesterday. So glad about that. And now before I go outdoors, it's been sizzling hot day again, but it's cloudy, so it's good to be out. By the end of the day, to conclude our walk, we arrived in Helsinki back to the railway station, and there on the stairs I saw this group of women who were struggling with their luggage. They had so much luggage on their backs, on both hands, 3 women, and they came at the same time along with us up the stairs from the bus station that is besides of the railway station. And I looked like them, they were almost falling on the stairs. So I looked over my shoulder and I was but okay, she's picking up the luggage, she is kind of okay. But then I read her face and she was like having this panda eyes of, oh help please. And then I stopped by and asked, hey, may I offer my helping hand for you? And she was like, yeah, and gave me this really heavy sack to carry. And then the partner of mine was also like willing to help. She said like, hey, I may also carry something. And the other girl gave none of her bag to her, and she later commented that that was super heavy actually. So now they were in a semi-hurry to the railway station, and we walked with the luggage to the station and left it there. And then one of the girls stayed with the luggage, and the another girl went to help their third girl who awaited outside of the railway station. And before she went to help, I asked them that I had my camera here on my shoulder. I asked them that, hey, would you like to have a picture of this moment quickly? And by the way, while we walked there, we quickly chatted about that, and they told that they were from Tornio and they have been having a trip here, holiday trip. Tornio is in the very northern city of Finland. And they were up for the picture, and I took one photo, and that was great. And now I'm going to send. I asked them that, hey, do they want this picture? And they said yeah. And now I'm going to send this picture to them. So glad to help this is just an example that anywhere you are, you may offer a helping hand. And that is how stories begin. Upwards. So, I am actually not only going to send the picture via IG, but send a link where they get the full-size resolution of the picture. So there you go. I say just hi, here's the picture from the railway station yesterday. It was glad to meet you. Perhaps the most northern degree where I am going to travel is Oulu by the end of the year, when I will be photographing the annual party at the university. So not only just sending a bored message, but adding a little bit of detail and nuance. Also, yeah, I would be so glad to travel even to Lappi. Tornio is already in Lappi actually, and there are so fine landscapes in the autumn. My sister has visited there, and actually today I checked out some hiking pictures of mine from 2013. I'm going to post some of them finally on IG after 12 years. But yeah, hiking has been close to my heart along with the nature. With these pieces, upwards.